has been voted to amend the constitution. It is very sad that this is about the third time this scenario will be coming up. I think during the 7th Senate, it was the same story.
It happened in Olusegun Obasanjo
too. And so we are.
It was killed there because of third time agenda.
But it was a waste. We are wasteful in this country because we want to amend constitution. We are talking about 8 billion naira. So what's going to happen is that I'm not a pessimist, but then I don't see anything coming up between now and when the tenure of this government will end. And it's very unfortunate. Another Senate to come around, others will come around, and we'll still talk of amendment of the constitution. Maybe by the time Nigerians will wake up and occupy the place and demand for whatever the right thing they should do. All this back passing, it is the Senate, it is the House of Assembly, it is the House of Rep, it is the governors. Where do all these things take us to?
Okay, Edward, well, when it comes, I mean, I'm sure you are familiar with amendments in the US.
Yeah.
Now, look at the circumstance which we have found ourselves, then compared to what happens or what is happening in the US. And perhaps you can also give us an idea of how we can come out of this seemingly disagreements.
The United States system, they have institutions that are well set and that do not change unless if necessary or when necessary. Passing an amendment to a constitution, there's a timeline, like you said, even in the Nigerian constitution, there's a timeline for doing these things, and they will make sure that everything is done within that time period and not pushed to the last minute. Everything has to happen systematically at particular times during that period. In Nigeria, they take everything lackadaisically. And also, there's a regional coloration to what's happening in Nigeria. Do the Southerners want amendment? Do the Southerners want police, state police? Do the Northerners want it? Or who are those 25 states who have not ratified the amendment in their individual states? Are they in the South, or Southeast, or Southwest, or South-South? Or are they in the Northeast, Northwest, or North Central? Where are they? So there may be a regional coloration to the refusal to sign or pass this thing in their houses of assembly. And now, should the president sit down and fold his arm and watch these things happen? And many of them now are in the lame sitting duck is what we call it. They're in the sitting duck position now. They're going out of office in May next year, many of them, and so they don't care whether this thing passes or not.
Even if all of them were to come back, they have to
start afresh. Yes, they will wait until they come back, because the money that has been spent or expended on this thing during this session, they want to sit on it, and then when they come to the next session and if they come back, then they will also appropriate fresh budget for this thing. So there is a lot of sentiment in these things, but if I were to be in the National Assembly, or if I were to have the ears of the president, I would say now we need to look at the timeline and let the president do something and make sure that these houses of assembly, they pass these amendments in their houses of assembly. And if they don't, then withhold something. They come to Abuja every month to collect their allocation. So maybe the carrot and the stick.
That will be a constitution.
Of course, we know, but everybody has a constitution in Nigeria.
Yes, I want to disabuse the mind of the regional thing. You said it's cut across. Only thank God our own state is one of the states that has assented. Abia is there, Level State, Akwa Ibom is there, Anambra, Delta, Edo, Kaduna, Katsina, Kogi, Lagos, Ogun, Osun. So it is
at the level state.
Level state.
Yes.
So that's cut across.
I mentioned every other time. He has felt it. The consequence of the lopsided federal arrangement.
And then at the level of discussion, the Kaduna State.
Exactly, he has felt it. But
Kaduna State.
Kaduna is there.
Exactly.
Kaduna, Katsina.
The issue is this. Let me add before we leave this one. The issue is that because the current arrangement encourages laziness at the state level, if we have the real federal system whereby you need to look inward to generate what you have to take care of your people, they will take it serious. But because everybody will know at the end of the month, they will share the booties, they will share the national cake. So they won't take anything that will be of futuristic for the country serious if we continue this way.
I still see the overbearing influence of our governors.
That's what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is this.
If there are answers that can call the governor bluff,
I know.
I'm telling you, will teach you.
The issue is this. The issue is this.
That is if.
If. Yes, that's why I said if.
The issue is this.
I'm not sure we can.
We cannot. If we continue with this present arrangement, I've said it earlier on. If we have
except if we have someone like late Lamidi Adedibu, but that will be a talk for another day. We move forward. Yes, this time I want to look at the political scene now. There are well-reported clashes between members of the All Progressive Congress, People's Democratic Party, New Nigerian People's Party, and Labour Party in some states. And even we are also hearing that some states are denying opposition parties, because we have more than one now, access to public facilities. So, and INEC is saying we cannot continue with this. How do you see this?
Well, it's just the same thing, the same scenario. I wish INEC we can win that big stick on our political parties. But then the members of the INEC who appointed them, the executive, because the law is clear.
They don't have the power to sanction.
The law is clear,
and that is the issue. Where is that power?
The electoral 2022 assembly is clear on the excesses that INEC can curb the excesses of political parties, especially when it has to do with this violence, this overspending. It's clear what INEC can do in terms of curbing the excesses.
Don't forget, INEC doesn't.
Okay, no, I don't want to become argumentative. Let me know where and what I do with that.
INEC can call the leaders of the different political parties and talk to them and threaten them and say all kinds of things. They can do that. But it's the individual members, all these young people and the old people, and individual members who are disgruntled or who are greedy, who are the ones that carry these things out. When you look at what happened in Kaduna just a few days ago, I don't think the leaders of the party were there to cheer them on, but somebody accused the governor of the state of being behind it, and all of this. So it's the young, the electorate, the active and the vibrant electorate who are the ones who turn out.
Or active and vibrant party members.
Party members is what I mean. But I said electorate to bring all of them together. But they are the ones that INEC and the president and the governors need to get under control. Talk to them, tell them to be law-abiding, and that election doesn't have to be do or die. Look at, they were attacking Atiku's campaign in Kaduna, and then at the end of that very day, the airport met Atiku and Tinubu. They were all there in the small waiting lounge, or the executive lounge, what do they call it? And so they were embracing each other whilst their followers are killing each other outside. So we need to get something done and get the young people, but all the electorate together and tell them that it does not make sense attacking each other, because at the end of the day, you look at them, they are in Dubai now. They met in France 2 nights ago. So, but the boys are fighting each other here.
Well, the fact remains that none of these major political parties, the APC, the PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, or whatever, can come out and say it doesn't have its own voice. Quote unquote. All of them sponsor Togri.
Yeah.
The problem with us is this.
Is it the same thing? The boys you are talking, is it the same thing with state boys in Osun sometimes?
Well, that's tagging. It's tagging. It happens everywhere. It's only when you see someone who does it openly that should be talking. At times, okay, let me recall something. The other time there was a armed robbery in Ofa, where about 31 people were about to kill policemen everything. At the end of the day, there was a particular guy who was then a political appointee.
Yeah.
He used the cover of the government house to perpetrate that evil. The government didn't send him to do it, but he's one of the boys
for governor will not
that's what I'm talking about. These people know how they recruit these people. They know them. And boys, that's what they call them. But if you ask them, who are your boys?
But can't they checkmate them?
Who is going to checkmate who?
I mean, our boys who are those who hold them.
That is hypocrisy. They will tell you, or they will tell you, we don't know them. They are happy they are doing what they are doing. In politics, let me tell you this, in politics, what politicians always do is that they try to create panic in the heart of the opposition. If the opposition is strong, they will want to make the state or country ungovernable for the ruling party. That's what they do. It happens everywhere in Nigeria. I don't know of any other country, but this Nigeria that we are together since 1990 till date.
So that is your interpretation of how they are.
Exactly. Not until all of them are ready to hand this.
You want to intimidate your opponent, either as a ruling party or as opposition party. How will you react to that?
The best way to do it, the civilized way to do it, is to outspend your opposition. That is, advertisement, billboards, and all that, and community campaigns, and get together. That is the best way to outwit your opponent. But to now use your boys in your party to now go and attack violently, it's barbaric. It is uncivilized, and it should never be allowed in a democratic society, in a civilized society. When they were going for governorship campaign, the July 16 election we had, I was standing by the road on Elisha Road, and this convoy of cars came, and I knew it was the governor going or passing. Of course, I saw but then behind the convoy were two cars loaded with boys who were carrying long machete, and they were swinging it. I had to run away from the side of the road. That should never be in a civilized society.
Now, that your language. I don't mean saying it is barbaric. It is uncivilized. Are we saying the leaders, the political heads, are not aware of this?
Yeah. On many occasions, when they are apprehended, you see one commissioner or one special advisor calling the commissioner of police, please release our boys. So they are all aware of it, and it's very unfortunate that this is where we find ourselves. That we must use thuggery to perpetrate or to get somebody maimed, to destroy somebody's property,
or to demonstrate popularity.
Is that how to be popular? Mr. Lew just said something now. It's not what you want to tell your people is, I will do this, I will do that. Campaign strategies. And that's why the role of National Electoral Agency comes in. The guy we see the Jerry Ghana of this world in all the state of the federation. Where is our National Electoral Agency now?
What do you think we can do?
Let me pick it from where that was stopped. Where is NOAA today? The National Electoral Agency, where are they today?
In any state?
They are nowhere to be found. They may have offices, they may have personnel, but they are not doing enough.
They may not need to be going around the way Jerry Ghana went around.
They should, my brother. They should.
There are various ways of communicating.
Okay, let's agree.
The social media is there.
Let's agree. They are doing their best, but their best have not.
They are good at.
I'm not giving the result we need. That's one. You look at religious bodies. When an imam is speaking, the congregation listen. When a pastor is speaking, the congregation listen. And these people are either from the church or from the mosque.
Majority.
That's what I'm saying. A very few of them can be atheists or be traditionalists. What are they telling them in the mosque? What are they telling them in the church?
What do you think INEC should do?
The other time,
apart from this, calling them to.
The other time, I engaged one INEC state commissioner, and I raised something. The resident electoral commissioner, and I raised something. It is about political education. We are talking about void voting that day, and what he told me was, we've left that one for political party to do. So I felt somehow, but I couldn't.
You are not comfortable.
Honestly.
So what do you think INEC should do?
INEC should, as a matter of fact, as a stakeholder, I believe INEC must have a particular desk that has to do with the public and the rest. And they must have had this number of factors that contribute to one way or the other. INEC should engage NOAA, they should engage a parent body, they should go engage religious body and other stakeholders, because this is a collective responsibility. I have my own parents. I knew my upbringing. Most of these boys we are talking about, so many of them were not brought up the way they should be brought up.
Okay,
so that's
okay.
at the door of the parents too.
Some 3 weeks ago or thereabout, there was a peace accord that was signed by the presidential candidates
Peace committee
of the political parties.
Yeah.
And these reported clashes are coming 3 weeks after. And what would you say had happened to the peace accord their leaders signed in Abuja?
Well, you can look at this last accord that was signed. You can look at what happened in that hall that very day while they was about to have signed the peace accord. Look at Showore of the AAC sparring with Shetima of the APC about where to sit, that he should not be placed behind Shetima. And so there was discord within that hall where they were signing the peace accord. So if they left that peace accord, if they left that hall in such sentiments and with such feeling, what do you think the peace accord they signed is just a paper thing? It's just a signature on paper. They have not, and they are not carrying it out in reality because they do not like each other. And they don't like each other because they are unpatriotic. They are not patriotic. Nigeria ought to be the first thing in their mind. Nationalism. I mean nationalism, but they ought to take the interest of the people seriously enough to say, we signed a peace accord. The people that put these things accord were honorable people. Bishop Kuka, General Abdusalami Abubakar, and all. They are honorable people who conceived that idea, but as soon as they leave there, it becomes null and void. Okay, so we should now recall ourselves. We need moral reformation.
What is the implication of a leader signing a peace accord and followers causing violence thereafter?
It makes such a leader irresponsible. If you call yourself a national chairman of a party, and down the line, there's a national chairman, there are state chairmen, there are other officers.
No, presidential candidate signed, not the national chairman.
But they are present. Gone like this, when a president candidate or a national chairman of a party will tell you, look at Jonathan, that life of anybody does not worth my winning any election. And honestly, that it may not be what anybody expected, but to some extent we still quote
it achieves.
It has a meaning, because Jonathan may even say he wasn't ready to hand over. But that statement from Jonathan, that was some tension.
Remember that my wife or die pronouncement
of OBJ, and that reflected in maiming and killing the Obasanjo's regime. But Jonathan said, no, the life of anybody, any Nigerian, doesn't worth my winning any election, and that was the message.
So the leaders that are signing now, implication of signing the peace accord, and you have your followers disrupting the peace of the land.
I just said it sometimes, and I think just a while ago, the INEC must display the power vested on them in the Electoral Act, I think Section 95, on what they can do to curb excesses of political parties, presidential candidates in this kind of
in a situation like this, I asked him the implication of you as a leader signing and your followers not complying. Then two, why is the police find it difficult to make arrests?
That is the paradox of Nigeria. That is the thing that is so laughable in Nigeria, that even as they were running rampant 2 or 3 days ago, chasing each other, where were the police officers?
They look the security
agencies. Where were they? Look at even the security agencies have been quoted as saying that they will not go where such a thing is going on or happening because they don't want to lose their own life. It's somebody who is sworn to protect, saying that they don't want to go to such a place.
If arrest could not be effected at the scene of
yes,
what about much more later. You can go to their homes and pick them up.
If a situation gets beyond the control of the police, then they call the DSS and call the CDC and call all of them together. If it's beyond their control, they call in the army or they call in the military. So we have all the security agencies, and at such at different levels you call them. But why is it that they didn't get the security forces to even be visible at such a place? That is what they were sworn to do. But when they signed, presidential primary, they see them there all over the place where nothing is going on.
Is it because there was no order from above?
That is the thing that gets me riled up in Nigeria, when somebody will always say order from above, and that is because of the over-centralization of security in Nigeria, going back to what we said earlier on about state police. Why can't the governor mobilize security to a troubled spot within his state? They have to wait for so-called order from above.
Well, I will also blame it on political will. Even we are talking about the governor now. What if the governor is interested in that crisis? What if the governor is the mastermind of that crisis? Not until our political giants think about Nigeria first. Where is our nationalism? Where is our patriotism? Where is our humanity? Where is our brotherhood? If we cannot get all this together, we may not get it right. That's the problem with them. The politicians are ready to win election at all costs. That cost is what we are discussing now.
And anything that will make that happen.
Exactly, anything for that matter.
Nigeria
needs people's life.
Yeah, Nigeria needs
orientation.
That's why we are talking about Noah and the
to
rest.
educate the average person that Nigeria first. When you get to these European countries, or
the leaders are. They are all over 50 years of age.
Yes.
And I'm so sure that many of them have been to this same
countries,
and they have seen how things are done there.
Yes.
But they are just doing it in Nigerian way.
Again,
let's move to another topic because of our time. Yes, now President Muhammadu Buhari is warning, or has warned, let me put it that way, ministers, permanent secretaries, and heads of government agencies not to abandon the business of governance for electioneering. And what I do, when a political party is campaigning and you hold and you are a top government official, not a politician, you find permanent secretaries, because if they have not been attending, the Mr. President would not have mentioned it. Heads of government agencies and establishment attending political rallies of the government that they are working under. Is it normal?
It is abnormal. It is subnormal and abnormal. It should not be at all. When they are campaigning, a government official, rather an employee, a civil servant, should be minding his own or her own business where he is employed or where he is posted, and let the politicians handle their campaign. Let the politicians do whatever they do in their campaign. It should not even be present at all, or be present in a presidential campaign council, leaving your your appointed office. You are an employee of the government. You serve the whole country, not just one party, but you serve everybody belonging to various parties. There are 18 political parties in Nigeria. You serve all of them. So you should not abandon your duty post to go and attend a campaign of one particular party.
For Mr. President to have said this, it means that some career officers have been attending political rallies.
Yes, let's start from this CBN governor, Emefiele. Emefiele didn't attend any rally, but Emefiele later confirmed he's a member of the ruling party.
Yes.
So that is the typical example of what we are facing. There are two things. One, eye service. At times you see senior career officers who are not with the government in power, but they want to show that we are with you because of their own a pot of soup.
But they have already attained a status. Which kind eye service again?
This is Nigeria. It is in our blood. It is in our vein.
He who is done for us is against us.
Exactly.
And they don't want to be against.
Yes, that's number one.
Are we ever satisfied with where we are?
Exactly. That's another issue is that some of them underground are part of politicking, whether in the opposition or in the ruling party. They participated in political activities in the night, and they appear like career officers in the daytime.
We saw that on July 14 at Freedom Park in Osogbo, where civil servants held a rally for the governor. That is
now one other thing is it is a sin.
Yeah.
It is a sin to be law abiding in a lawless society. That's the main thing that is happening to us here.
But we are not encouraging lawlessness.
What I'm saying is this: if you do it the right way and it boomerangs, people will mock you.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to.
Okay, it says something now that yes, in the night. I'm sure Mr. President is not talking about attending political meetings in the night. But he's saying you should not abandon your duty post.
Yes.
And of course, your duty post must be during the day.
Let's give that to the president. Honestly, if the president can come out and tell
if you are a foreign secretary and you are attending, you can attend during after official. If you, in the night you can attend. But why should it?
Let's even give it to him. Let's give it to the president. That if the president can come out and tell
and say that.
No, let's give it to him. Yeah. Don't forget that when they constituted the campaign committee, we were told he wouldn't ask that the VP and the SGF be exempted from the campaign.
Exactly.
Because the business of governance, not to solve. It means the man has taken the business of governance very serious. But look, politicking aside, the future of this country remains. So let's give it to the president.
Why should everything be politicized?
Should what?
Why should everything be politicized?
Well, that's Nigeria. Everything is politicized.
But
it's not unique. It's not unique to Nigeria. They do the same thing in other countries. They do it in the United States, but they do not carry it to the crazy extent to which Nigeria has carried its own. That's it. It's not unique. They all do it one way or the other.
It's not something unusual.
It's not unusual.
Then what is the extreme cases that you are talking about?
Extreme case is now to leave your duty post in Abuja and go and campaign in Port Harcourt for a particular candidate. That is extreme. Abi?
Okay, yes, Mr. President said business of government must continue to receive the needed attention. Yes. During campaigns.
Yes.
There are instances when a whole government building will be shot because a campaign is going on.
It's absurd. It's an absurdity.
It's a question of who sanctions who. President Buhari is the president of Nigeria. He is not the governor of Bauchi State. If a senior career officer does that in Bauchi, does Buhari have that power to sanction him? You know what I'm trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that if what a career officer does is in favor of the interest of the governor of the state, nobody will sanction him. And those who don't do what he did will see themselves as, why am I not doing it? After all, this man has done it and gone scot-free. And in most cases, the end result at times when you are doing good things and you are seeing the reward, you continue to do it. But in most cases, if you are faithful to this system, at the end of the day, what will be the outcome of your faithfulness?
Some people will say all civil servants or public servants, as the case may be, that their loyalty is the government in power. And because of that, some heads of government establishments, agencies, or whatever, will attend some of these rallies. How do you react to that?
Let me, like I said, if you see the quotation from the president, that any infraction will be viewed seriously. Honestly, like Mr. Lewis said, our loyalty should be to the country and not to political offices. and that we have taken to the extreme.
Or to state, in the case of state.
So this, I would like to the state, like our own media organization, you know, we always in support of the people. And of recent, you see us taking story from political parties. The PDP.
Don't let us bring that.
So what I'm saying is that we should be seen as being loyalty to the state, to the citizen, and not to.
I don't will say to institutions. Loyalty to
the institution is part of the nation and part of the overall general thing that makes up the country. Loyalty to the country will make me to stay in my duty post or carry out my responsibilities without jeopardizing my position.
What about being loyal to, or that you're a member of the
political party?
No, the government in power. Well, everything the government in power is doing as a public servant was also
every person has a right to his own political affiliation and can do and vote for or whatever he likes. But what happened in 2014 during the campaign, 2015, when PDP campaign, I think it was in Lagos, when a minister or somebody in a department would come and say, Ministry of so and so donate 15 million or so. You remember that scenario? That is where it is carried to the extreme, and it should never be allowed. It should never be.
Well, I would say
loyalty to government.
Yes, government in power, not party in power. There are two things. When we are talking about a state or a government, we are talking about everybody. Yes. We are talking about Godon Lele, about Latif Agbola, about Dayana Bekun, and Edadewumi. So we are all government, whether at the federal or state level. Government represents the people. Political party in power is not the same as government
in power.
Yes. Because the government in power is peopled with more people than party members.
Yeah.
The issue with us is that the Nigerianness in us is no more existing. No humanity, no patriotism. This is all the problem we are having. The only thing we have is individualism.
Let's continue.
We strive to survive individually. Everybody is striving to survive individually.
So survival that is taking some people to do that, some career officers to do that.
Exactly. Because of the self-centeredness. Because people don't care about the state or about the country. Muhammadu Buhari, I appreciate Mr. President, but to me, with this system, Mr. President talked to the federal career officer, not at any state level.
Okay, yes, but it can go down. It's the father of the nation.
Yes.
If you're already head of government establishment or a permanent secretary, what else are you looking for?
It's an absurdity. I've just said it.
Using this word now, eye service.
It's an absurdity.
What you should not do.
He just said Nigeria in knows. Are we always satisfied with where we find ourselves? Why must an head of service or a public secretary find himself in a political campaign? Why not in the office? And that's why, like he said, loyalty to the government, not to the political party in power. It's an absurdity.
Well, that's how far we'll be able to go on today's edition of this program. In the newsroom, we want to appreciate you for being part of the show, and let me sincerely thank my colleagues that are in the house. Latif Agbola.
It's my pleasure being here again and again.
Dayola and Beku also appreciate you.
I'm always in the newsroom.
Well, it's a joy being here, and I'll say Nigeria needs moral reformation, and it ought to begin with me and each one of us.
Okay, Nigeria needs moral reformation. The program will be back tomorrow. My name is Abiodun Lalere. We'll see some other time. Bye-bye.